Thank you for tuning in to the Calm Your Nervous System podcast, where you will learn to regulate your nervous system, not just calm it. I'm your host, Jenny Adams, and I'm a somatic coach who has recovered from debilitating ME and trauma. Alongside my guest experts, I'm here to share tips, stories, and debunk jargon, what is somatics anyway, about how you can regulate your nervous system so you don't have to live with chronic illness, burnout, or debilitating trauma for the rest of your life. A joyful life is possible. More than £1 million has flowed through me this year alone, and the year is not over yet. And I'm going to share more about how I've done this and how you can do the same too. And this one missing thing that leads to more of that abundance, more of that flow, and why this really matters. So how have we done this? What has happened? The energy's changed. And this isn't some woo-woo fluff. This is embodying balance in our nervous system, balance in our lives that leads to what we want. It leads to the limitless life that we are wanting to create, the feelings, the joy, the environments, the places, the experiences, all the things that we want is experienced through our nervous system. And when that is out of whack, you probably know if you're listening to this, it leads to burnout, it leads to sickness, it leads to disease. And when we get it in balance, we are healthy. We are wealthy, we are joyful, we're content, we are in tune with the superpowers that we have as neurodivergent people. We aren't shrinking ourselves, we're living from our power, and life is pretty fucking epic when you're embracing that limitless life that is available to you as well. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about money and what it has to do with the nervous system, because I'm sure a lot of you are wanting to be earning more money or stewarding more money. And you might also be somebody that has plenty of money in the bank, but you're exhausted and you're miserable and you have realised that money does not equal happiness. So let's get into the depth and the balance of what's actually going on inside of us in this episode. Now, I'm just going to say to you guys, I'm not bullshitting you. You are smart. I know you are smart. You're intelligent. And this is this beautiful marriage of embodiment and knowledge, which is so often the missing piece. So we're really going to go into balance here, because you might be listening and knowing something's not right. Something's off balance in your life, and it is leading to symptoms that you don't want. It might be leading to not enough money flowing into your business, into your life, not being able to hold on to it. It might be those exhausted feelings, the cycles of toxic relationships, like just the world feeling like it's against you a little bit, just off balance. So balance is never like static. So if you can imagine those old weighing scales, you know that they tip back and forth, and we can be completely off balance, like one is massively up and one is massively down, or we can be somewhere in the middle that is constantly moving. So if we're striving to get to a place, to a feeling, that is never constant. So this is another trap that I see a lot of people falling into is, well, when I'm better or when things just settle down a little bit, then I will feel a certain way. But then they don't have the resilience to actually manage change. So when life's at us, as it very often does, they then don't have the resources because they're like, everything right now is very still and static and it's okay and I'm managing, but please don't have any more stress because I cannot cope. Yeah, we don't want any of that. Let's get rid of that energy. Get rid of that. And finding that stable movement, it's flow, it's dynamic, it's this balance for you that is you living the life that you want and knowing that that can change. And especially if you're neurodivergent, how often do we say, this is the best thing ever and this is my new hobby, this is my new idea, this I'm 100% into this thing, and then we change our minds. And then we go into a shame spiral because we thought this would be the thing. And we truly, fully believe it. And we've told everybody. And then we go, oh, shit, there's another thing I failed at. But no, that is not the case. Nature is constantly moving and changing. So why can't we? So let's embrace that. If this feels exciting, great, go for it. So what does this actually have to do with money? And how the hell did more than £1 million flow through me this year? So energy has shifted. Energy has changed. When you step into balance, and I'm going to talk a little bit about balancing masculine and feminine energies and a little bit about what they are, how we balance them, what they look like in life, we can start to receive. Because one thing I see so often is our burnout, our constant doing and needing to be on and pushing and going is an imbalance of what's going on with our energy. And we're living too much in a masculine world, and we're living too much in our masculine energy that we don't have space to receive, to use our intuition, to surrender, to actually use this intangible wisdom that we have, because we are so in the masculine pushing, going, feeling like we're a failure, because when we're always in that world and that reality, we can't win. So we try and do more of that. The world is a fairly masculine place to some degree. When we are in that masculine energy, pushing, we burn out. We get sick. We're out of balance. So you might already have some idea about masculine and feminine energy, but I have brought this up with quite a few clients recently, and it's been quite mind-blowing information, especially if you're somebody who might hear masculine and feminine and assume like male and female. And we have both of these in us. And no matter what sex you are, what gender you are, we all have a unique balance of both of these. But if one's too far off, then that's when we get issues. So if you're somebody that is wanting to be receiving more, whether that's clients, money, love, we need to be tapping into a little bit more of our feminine energy. So what are these? So let's start with the masculine, which, see how many of these feel familiar. So masculine energy is more, it's more out there. It's that confident energy. It's represented by the sun. So it's that heat, that fire, the doing, movement. It's direct, it's confident. It also represents structure. So it's clarity, it's stability, the clearness, the container that things that can sit in. It's generally faster. It's can also be about control and avoidance. And it's that busyness. It can also be powerful, but can, in the wrong hands, be power over as opposed to empowered, if that makes sense. So for anyone that's listening that has trauma or might feel a bit triggered by wanting to even tap into your masculine energy, especially for women listening, we need this, because what the masculine represents is that safe container and structure for us to be in our feminine flow. And I'll share a little bit more about what this can look like, because this is something I had a big block against for a very long time. So on the flip side then, we have the feminine energy, and this is more about the being as opposed to the doing. This is represented by the moon. So this is the darkness. This is like the stillness, the intuition, it's the intangible, it's the feelings, it's the stillness, the surrender, the receptivity, being open to receive, the nurturing, caring, creative energy. This is also sensitive. This is, for anyone that would say they're quite empathic, this is your feminine energy. This can be quite open. It can also be quite overwhelming. It can be a little bit confusing. It can look like anxiety, but it can also To me, the feminine energy really represents the flow, the intuition, and receiving. This is like the hidden magic that we all have within us. And the masculine is like the physical strength. So the masculine might be, getting your guns out, as in you got your big muscles, you've gone to the gym, you're working hard. That's your masculine. The feminine is I've just got a feeling about this. So some good examples of what a healthy balance can look like and where we actually need both of these energies is, for example, like I have a meeting with my team every week. We have it at the same time. We turn up to that meeting. We know the time. It's on Zoom. It's this time every week. This is how we get to it. So that's the masculine container there. It's the time. It's how. So we're on Zoom. And then we don't really have a structure. So we turn up, we will talk a little bit about what needs doing in the week, if there's anything pressing, where we're going with clients, launches, where things are going in the business. We will also have a giggle. So we were very inappropriately having a laugh about a member of my team this week who she house sits and is looking after a devil dog at the moment, as she called him, because he can't stop humping her boyfriend's leg. So we give the space for some of this just giggling, fun energy to be held, that it's not that strict, controlling structure. And I know when I used to work in the corporate world and it was very much a male dominated world, everything was too much in the masculine. It was too structured. There was no space for the giggles about the dog she's looking after because, it's not professional. It's not accepted here. But that is also part of bonding and being in team and doing this work and being human as well. So we go into these masculine structures to allow the feminine flow to be here. And this is particularly important if you're neurodivergent, because we can get off balance. And I see this a lot, is that people are either living so in the masculine that they want every single thing controlled. I've just deep dived into Trello or Notion, and they'll build out the whole systems and they're hyper focused in the structure, and then it's too much. It's so containing, it's strangling, and then they stop using it. And then we go, oh, well, that's just another thing I won't use and I can't, what's the point? But really, we've over masculined it because we're not then allowing the space for the feminine flow, the intuition, the creativity to be part of that process. So, and on the flip side of that, when we're too much in our feminine energy, we have no structure. We say, I can't turn up to meetings. I get PDA. If it's in my diary, I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to put anything anywhere. I'm not going to write anything down. And then we are constantly living in a flap going, oh shit, I forgot about that thing. And there's no holding. There's no diary. There's no structure. And then we're just jumping from one thing to another because we're too much in the feminine. And I can't remember who it was. Someone shared this with me recently, that they went to a feminine energy conference a year ago or so. And because it was all about feminine energy, there was no structure. So no one knew where they were going, what time they had to be anywhere, what was going on with lunch, like the seating plan, like all of the structured stuff that you need to hold an event. None of it happened. And they were like, it was an absolute shit show. So instead of having the masculine structure there of the time, the date, the seating plan, the food, like all of the stuff that needs to be arranged, the masculine stuff. So then you can turn up and you go, okay, well, I know where I can sit. I know I can eat. I know what time I need to be there. All that stuff is taken care of. And then I can just go there and I can be and I can receive and I can take on all of this stuff. But you might be going, well, what time does this finish? And when can I go to the toilet? And have they listened to my dietary requirements? And it just becomes a mess. So both of these can be off balanced. So all of us need both masculine and feminine energies within us. And these are also known as yin and yang. So the yin is the feminine and the yang is the masculine. So when we can find this beautiful balance of both our yin and yang, our masculine and feminine, we are almost plugging the holes in all of that energy and power that we are just giving away. We're wasting so much time, energy, power because we're in a flap, because we're out of balance, we're out of sync. And especially for us neurodivergent people, we have that extra intuitive power that a lot of people just, they don't have access to this. And if we're suppressing this and we're keeping this away and not wanting to tap into that, we're trying to be neurotypical, we're just wasting ourselves when we actually tap into that. So, for example, I've been investing in cryptocurrency for about 5 years. So, I'm not going to be giving financial advice. So, please don't listen to any of this as financial advice. This is me just sharing my experience. I got into it about 5 years ago because my now husband, boyfriend at the time, had made a lot of money on Bitcoin before it got big. So he was sharing with me about, how do you use it and what is it, and just helping me educate myself. And then I started going into the rabbit holes of learning a little bit more about cryptocurrency and how it works and all of this stuff. And because he had earned so much money from crypto before, I was trusting what he was telling me more than I was trusting my gut. And I've said this to a friend. When I invested, essentially, I had a payout from a car accident that I had years ago. And I had said, as soon as I get that payout, I'm putting 10 grand into crypto. That payout came in March 2020, just as the markets went to absolute shit. If I had trusted my intuition and my gut and didn't pull out when my boyfriend was getting scared, but I hodled, as they say, hold on for dear life. No, I trusted my gut and actually said, no, I'm riding this. I'm gonna keep with it. I think I would have earned something like £500,000 from where I invested to where it is now, or another old peak. And yeah, we can always say, you can never really invest, buy in at the bottom and pay out at the top. But this was a real lesson to me to trust myself. And yeah, I still nearly doubled my money. So I did make a good chunk of cash from investing when I did. But now, especially the last year, I've really been playing with when I get a download, when I get an intuitive nudge, that's when I go and invest, or that's when I take some money out. And I don't really watch the news because it's dysregulating and depressing. And why do I want to put myself into more scarcity? I am a sensitive person. I don't need more of that. But I can feel what's going on. Couldn't tell you, again, tangibly what exactly is going on, but I can feel when's a good time to be buying and selling. And for another example, I have a screenshot of this in my phone of saying to a community that I'm in, this particular crypto is going to skyrocket soon. It's gonna go up, and it doubled in price in like 2 months. So it's just nice when you actually start to see the evidence of, I had a nudge, I followed the nudge, I've doubled the money. So this year alone, I think I've had a 40% increase in my investments. And there's no strategy to this. This is literally when I get a feeling, I put money in, I take money out. So this is my feminine intuition that I know I've spoken to Nath about this, my husband, and he's just like, but it doesn't make any sense. Well, what's your logic? Exactly. There isn't any logic. But the sacred masculine here is the container that holds this. So I use Coinbase, for example. So we still need that holding. It's the bank account. It's the system that you use to actually put money into in that safe container. And the feminine is that flow, that it's the downloads, it's the nudges. And I was talking to my mum about this a couple of months ago, and I know sometimes she can think I'm a bit woo-woo crazy. And she's been trying to sell her house for nearly a year. And I said to her, just start moving the energy. So if you've got a cellar full of stuff and it's stuff from your old house, like she has like 6 salt and pepper shakers or something like that. Like you don't need 6 sets of salt and pepper shakers. Get rid of stuff you don't need. Because then when you're getting rid of that old stuck energy, you can start to invite new stuff in. Within 2 weeks, she's had a viewing and we are expecting a sale any day. It's looking very good. And I said to her, start moving the energy, sell your stuff, sage your house, get rid of any old stuck energy. And she's a bit like, what? Okay, well, I'll try it. And by doing that, she said she just felt more positive by cleansing the house, opening the windows, releasing anything negative, and just calling in what she wants. And they'll sell the house. And equally, we sold our house going into that relaxed state. So I had another intuitive nudge that we went away in March to Miami and the Caribbean to get married. And I knew, because it had been crickets on our house, we'd had our house on the market for 18 months. And I knew the week before we go away, we're going to get a viewing and we're going to be negotiating when we're in Miami. I just have a feeling when we're away, we're going to be in negotiations. And it wasn't just a feeling, it was a real knowing. What happened? We had 3 viewings on our house the fortnight before we went away. And we are sitting by the pool in Miami a couple of days before we got on our ship to go and get married. And what happens? We get an offer. And we had shifted our energy. We were in that relaxed place. And this doesn't mean you need to like go on a fancy cruise or go to Miami. This is as simple as getting into that relaxed state where you're open to receive. Because with something like selling a house, for example, you've put it on the market, you've taken the pictures, you might chase up the estate agent every couple of weeks. You can't do any more. You have to wait and let it come to you. So what can you do? What are you in control of? Is how tight you're gripping, how much control you want over this, and how relaxed you can be. How much can you get into that receiving part of yourself and really allow stuff to flow through you, flow into you, and just letting this drop. And we sold the house. We moved out. Our new place wasn't quite ready, so we had to go somewhere for a couple of months. My brother had been trying to sell his house or his flat, so we're all moving at the moment. It's been a year, and he's just been desperate to get rid of it. He said the neighbours are a pain in the ass, like no one replies to anything. It's just costing him money. The mortgage is going up. Like there's all these things. He's just like, I just want to get rid of it. So we actually moved in for a couple of months to my brother's flat and we changed the energy. So a simple thing, this is feng shui. The welcome mat was facing the wrong way around. So you're welcoming yourself leaving as opposed to welcoming someone in. So first of all, you're sending out literally the wrong signals, the wrong energy. So I turned the mat around. We got into his flat and we were really, really grateful. And we really embodied that gratitude that we've sold our house. We've got money in the bank. We're helping my brother. We're paying his bills. It's costing us less money because we've got a family deal. And we're in this beautiful place that is a stone's throw from the beach. It's temporary. We're here for summer and we've had a wonderful summer. And we were just in so much gratitude of being in this place. And we've moved out of a town that we weren't particularly happy in. We've moved into one that we love and there's more going on. And we really like being there. So we were just embodying and just oozing gratitude being in this space. A week after we moved in, it sells. And there was a smashed up car outside the flat from the upstairs neighbour that my brother's been complaining about for, I'm going to say months, probably years. So in spite of the smashed up car outside, he still sells his property. because the energy has changed. So when you can get into gratitude and receiving and joy, things come to you. And when you start to tap into this, you might go, yeah, but that's just a one-off. Or maybe that was just a coincidence. If you open yourself up to see more and more of this, and there's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, which is constantly filtering information of what's important and what's not important. So where we put our focus is where our energy goes. So if we are constantly telling ourselves we don't have enough money, we're in confirmation bias, we want to prove ourselves right, we are filtering through this system. It is looking for evidence to prove ourselves right all the time. So if you're stuck in there's not enough, you're going to be constantly seeing all this evidence that there's not enough, whether that's not enough energy, not enough money, whatever it is, not enough nice people out there that I can meet. But when we start to tap into abundance and gratitude and joy and rewiring these beliefs, the more we see them, the more we see them. And this is where getting into communities as well, where we can see evidence of other people like us doing the things, having the things that we want to. We have mirror neurons. So when someone else is doing something, we feel it. If we're neurodivergent and we're empaths and we're sensitive, we pick up on that quicker. So we can pick up on all the shit going on in the world and we really feel it. And that's where that isn't so nice to feel. Equally, when someone next to you is having a good time, when someone similar to you has the relationship that you want, they have the career, they have the income, and they're quite similar to you and they're in your space, you feel that. And there was this wonderful phrase that I heard when I was in Miami a couple of years ago, and we were in this room of incredible women, and we were almost chanting this phrase over and over: your success is my success, and my success is your success. Because when we shift out of survival and everyone being against each other and we come together, we tap into each other's nervous systems, we co-regulate together. Literally, your success, I feel. And when I'm winning, you win too. And this is the power. Like, I'm in a mastermind at the moment, and one of the girls in this mastermind has just done an incredible launch, and it's all this stuff that's just dropping in that just shouldn't, almost is, it shouldn't be happening. It's so magical that how well she's doing. And she was sharing about being on a beach in Cornwall, and she's sitting there in tears because she's just done such an incredible launch, not only with her numbers, but with the amount of people that she can help and the people's lives that she is changing. Now, going to the beach in Cornwall is something that I'm familiar with. And as she's sharing this, I am really feeling that, like, this isn't her win that I'm jealous of. This is my win. And I'm feeling what she's feeling too. And that's pretty incredible. Equally, when you can be around people that they have the energy that you want, you feel that. So the more we can get into these communities, and this is what I'm really building with the Limitless Circle, is getting into that space where instead of pulling each other down through co-regulation, we're raising each other up. So when you hear someone else celebrating themselves, you celebrate yourself too. When someone is doing well, you're hearing that. When someone's being vulnerable, it gives you permission to be vulnerable as well. So let's go back to some money and receiving and balance, because I'm sure that's probably why you're listening to this. So what's actually keeping us out of balance is things like not feeling our feelings, suppressed emotion, spending too much energy in the doing. And if you're recognizing yourself in these masculine and feminine energies, you might be hearing, oh wait, yeah, I'm a little bit off with that one, and I could be doing a bit more of this. We're gripping too tightly. We are too much in that control and needing to know, and not allowing the flow. So energy, for example, well, emotion is energy in motion. Money is also energy. How many of you are listening to this would like more energy, more money? I'm sure probably everyone listening could say, yes, please, I would like some more of that. When we're not allowing our emotion to move through us, we are creating blocks, we are creating barriers, we are blocking more of what we want coming into us. So when we can tap into our intuition, we listen to our bodies. When we're feeling sad, we cry. When we're feeling angry, we let some of this anger out. We're not blocking ourselves. More just comes through us. We can get into this wonderful flow. And I talked a little bit in the last episode about beliefs and rewiring some of our beliefs as well. So I'm sure we've probably all got some old money beliefs that aren't serving us. So maybe ask yourself, get your journal out if this helps. What kind of stories, what did you hear about money when you were younger? So if I ask you the question, finish the sentence, money is, first thing that comes to you, what is it? Rich people are, what comes to you? Notice what comes up, because those are your patterns, those are your beliefs. And if you want more, yet you have a belief that maybe money is the root of all evil, or rich people are greedy, you want it, but you're blocking it because of these beliefs. So one thing that I have found so powerful this year, and this is something that I have tailored and tweaked specifically for high achieving neurodivergent people in burnout, are specific meditations that are neurodivergent friendly, because I know we don't like to sit still for very long. Well, speak for myself. That as you drift off to sleep, you are starting to rewire some of these beliefs, going out walking, moving your body and listening to a meditation. You are rewiring your brain. You're rewiring these patterns, and it's pretty fucking life-changing. So some of the things that are dropping in are just, pay rises. One thing I am doing more and more is going and doing what brings me joy. So I love traveling. I love a bit of bougie luxury, as you can maybe see if you're watching. I'm in this beautiful hotel. Your energy shifts. You are repatterning those old stories, the shame, the blocks, the patterns of, like when I was a kid, for example, I was told you have to work hard to have money. So I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked, and then I burnt myself out and it didn't really get me anywhere. I have learnt when I go and do the things that are in alignment with my values and that bring me joy, so traveling, for example, that are listening to my needs, more comes to me. So in the last year, for example, going to Spain in February, I wanted to get some sun. I was fed up of the winter. I'm not built for cold English weather. So I have been trying to spend as much time abroad in the sun as I can, in wintertime particularly. Went to Spain, had a 10K month. Clients dropped in as I am out enjoying myself, because I've given myself the novelty of somewhere different, the warmth of the sun in Spain as opposed to cold, dark February in England. And when I'm emanating that energy, people feel it. And notice if you're listening, like, what are you feeling? What are you noticing as you listen to this podcast? What energy are you giving out? What energy are you receiving? And what energy do you want to be in more and more? And our nervous system is the catalyst to getting into all of this. Rewiring your nervous system, rewiring these old beliefs, moving through and bringing that beautiful balance of knowledge, because I know you're smart, and embodying it, feeling it, is the key to getting the limitless life that you want. And just to finish up, if you are a journaler, if that's even a word, or something you want to reflect on, is really getting into the why. So I can talk about your limitless life. I can talk about energy. We can talk about money. Why do we want these things? So many of us, we're chasing money, but do you actually want the money, or do you want the experiences, the freedom, the what comes with the money and the energy that you were seeking, it's those experiences. It's not necessarily the energy or the money. They are just tools to get you to the feeling that you want. So if you're someone that's craving more money to have the ability to travel more, for example, if you had a shitload of cash, but your body is exhausted and burnt out, and this is something that I see with a lot of clients, is they have the money, but they don't have the energy to actually do anything. What good is more money? What we're actually seeking is the experience and the feeling that we get from the thing that we want. Now, this is another quantum crazy thing that we can experience. That feeling that we are chasing, that experience, that reality that we so desperately want, we can experience that anytime. And how we do that is getting into our body, getting into our nervous system, and feeling. And this is something that we go through in the Limitless Circle, is exactly how you can tap into that. So you feel the feelings, you experience what you want to experience in the present moment, which then creates the future that you want. So instead of constantly chasing, because if you notice that you're someone that says, oh, well, once I've done this, then I'll be happy. Or once this is settled, then I'll be okay. Once I've got through this thing, then it will be okay. Something will change. And then you get to the thing and go, oh, actually, that didn't solve the problem that I wanted to solve, or that didn't actually make me happy. Because, I mean, look at a lot of celebrities or people that have won the lottery. What happens to them? They're not all happy. So when we can live the reality we want now, we get to enjoy life. We get to live that limitless life. Things just start to drop in. So if you change who you are now, if you start to learn how to regulate, to listen inwardly, listen to those intuitive nudges, listen to what your body is trying to communicate with you, that is when the money comes. The people come into our life. So, another example, I had a really embodied feeling of this. I did a meditation practice when I was in Miami a few years ago, and I had been nagging my then boyfriend to propose that I wanted to get married for years, and it was something I was really striving for. We did this meditation practice, and I felt like I had exactly what I wanted. And it wasn't just, oh, I want him to propose. It was a real deep felt love and joy. And it's not about marriage or a proposal. I want to be with him. And I'm so happy with him. I don't need anything else. And when we come from that place of wholeness, we have everything we need. So why are we chasing something? Why are we in lack and scarcity and survival mode and dysregulation and burnout? And off we go. So when we come from that place of wholeness and love and joy, what happened? I got into that place of, I don't need him to propose. I don't need to get married. I'm so happy with him and our life. I don't need for anything. And a few days later, he proposed because I changed my energy. I came into that balance. I came from a place of wholeness and I got what I wanted, but it didn't come from the pushing and the gripping and the holding and the needing. It came from, I already have everything I need and want. This is just the cherry on top. So I'll leave you with that one to have a think about. Keep asking yourself why. What's important to you? What are your values? If you could wave a magic wand, what do you want? And don't say, I don't want X, Y, and Z. What do you want? So if you say, I don't want to feel pain, well, how do you want to feel? Relaxed? Energized? Really get into what that would look like, how that would feel. See if you can feel it, expand it into your body. And in the Limitless Circle, you will get to feel this with other people. And when we get into spaces where there's more of us, that energy amplifies. So if you're someone that might struggle doing things like meditation or watching videos and stuff at home on your own, but you really thrive when you're in person or you're around others, your nervous systems are talking to each other. And this is a community space that I have built. So if you want to hear more about it, then jump over to jennyadamscoach.co.uk/TLC. You'll get a freebie. You'll jump onto the wait list, or you can join straight away. And this is going to be this incredible, life-changing, limitless circle that you can come and join to get rid of burnout and jump into your healthy and wealthy life. So can't wait to see you in there. It's going to be epic. And thanks for listening. Share in the comments what you've learned from this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to this episode of Calm Your Nervous System. I hope you found the conversation as interesting as I did. If you would like to start healing your nervous system, I have a free energy diary available just for podcast listeners, which will really help you see your blind spots about how you're spending your time and your energy. Find it at jennyadamscoach.co.uk/podcast. Find out more about me and somatic coaching in the show notes below. See you next time.